This is Activity 3, Making a Puzzle, from Lesson 1, Number Puzzles, and Unit 4, Linear Equations and Linear Systems. And this is a revision of this activity in October 2022. In this activity, the authors want you to design your own puzzle, solve it, and then exchange that puzzle with your partner and see if your partner solves that puzzle in the same way or in a different way. Rather than creating a new puzzle, I suggest going back to the two previous puzzles that we did and changing some of the numbers to see what happens. What if you change the ending temperature in this problem that's based on temperature changes? What happens to the beginning temperature? Or if you start at 0, where does this temperature end? If you go through these same steps, starting at 0, where does the temperature end up? For the running problem, change how far Lynn runs compared to Diego. Instead of running twice as far, maybe Lynn runs 3 times as far. Or maybe Lynn runs a fraction of Diego's distance. Change how far Jada runs compared to Noah. Instead of 1/3 of the distance, have Jada run an improper fraction amount. I'm going to use 5/4, so we'll see what 5/4 the distance does. So just make some changes and see how those changes affect the problem. Here are some suggested changes listed for you. So for the temperature, add 10 degrees to the end. See what happens to the beginning temperature. Add 20 degrees to the end. See what happens to the beginning temperature. So when does the beginning temperature begin as a positive temperature? Where is that point of change or that break point? So if you start at 0, does the ending temperature change if you double, triple, multiply by 5? And the answer to that is no, because 2 times 0 is 0, 3 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0. Rather than multiplying first when starting at 0, you might add or subtract a temperature. And by subtracting, I mean add a negative temperature to the very first value and then continue. For the running problem, what if Lynn runs 3 times as far as Diego? Or if Lynn runs 1/3 the distance that Diego runs? Or Jada runs 5/4 the distance that Noah runs? So I'm going to choose to change the running problem to 5/4 of Noah's run for Jada and also 1/2 of Diego's run for Lynn, and see what happens when I make both of those changes at the same time. So for the temperature problem, if I increase the ending temperature by 10 degrees to 26 degrees, how does that affect the starting temperature? So what was the starting temperature? So remember, the last step was to increase the temperature by 40 degrees. So working backwards, you have to add a negative 40 degrees to get back to where that temperature was. And it was at negative 14 degrees. And then the step before this was to decrease the temperature by 10 degrees. So the temperature dropped by 10 degrees. Well, to get back to the next step, you have to add that 10 degrees back. So negative 14 plus that 10 degrees is equal to negative 4 degrees. And remember, the first step was that the temperature doubled. So negative 4 divided by 2 is equal to negative 2. So the starting temperature is at negative 2 degrees. And the algebra looks like this. 2 times the starting temperature, then the temperature dropped by 10 degrees, and then the temperature increased by 40 degrees, and that equals 26 degrees. Well, together, this is equal to 30 degrees, and you have to subtract that 30 degrees or add a negative 30 degrees to 26 degrees. That's negative 4. And 2 times some number, 2x is equal to negative 4. That means x is equal to negative 2. If we started at 0, 2 times 0 is 0, so we're still at 0 degrees. Then the temperature dropped by 10 degrees. We're going to add a negative 10 degrees. So now we're at negative 10 degrees. And then the temperature increased by 40 degrees. So that's a negative 10 plus 40 is going to get you out here to a positive 30 degrees. So start at 0 degrees and you end at 30 degrees. So 2 times, this is the temperature dropping by 10 degrees. Then the temperature increases by 40 degrees. This is a total of 30 degrees. So now you have 2x plus 30 equals 30. Take away the 30 or add negative 30 to both sides. 2x has to equal 0. That means x has to equal 0. For the distance problem, I chose to have Lynn run 1/2 the distance as Diego, and Jada run 5/4 the distance of Noah. So Lynn runs half as far as Diego. So that means the reciprocal relationship is that Diego ran twice as far as Lynn. So 1/2 and 2 are reciprocals, or multiplicative inverses. So Lynn runs half as far as Diego. That means that Diego runs twice as far as Lynn. Jada ran 300 meters less than Diego. So I'm not sure of the units just yet, but I'm just going to draw a shorter arrow. This is 300 meters less than Diego. And Jada ran 5/4 the distance of Noah. Well, that means the reciprocal relationship is that Noah ran 4/5 the distance of Jada. And so I'm going to go into this reciprocal relationship or multiplicative inverse or inverse relationship a little bit more in a moment. But Jada ran 5/4 the distance that Noah ran. That means that Noah ran 4/5 the distance that Jada ran. So Jada ran farther than Noah, 5/4 of Noah's distance. So this is drawn to scale. Each one of the sides of these squares is equal to 100 meters. So Noah equals 1,200 meters. This is 500, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 meters. And Jada ran 5/4 that distance. Well, that means that you take Noah's run, divide it into 4 equal parts. 1/4 is 300 meters, and 5 of those fourths, or 5 times 300, is equal to 1,500 meters. So Jada ran farther, 1/4 of Noah's distance farther than Noah. And Noah ran 4/5 the distance that Jada ran. So you take Jada's run, divide that into 5 equal parts. Well, 1,500 divided by 5 is that same 300 meters. And Noah ran 4 of those parts, or 4 times 300, which is 1,200 meters. So this is a reciprocal relationship. Jada runs 5/4 the distance Noah ran. Noah runs 4/5 the distance that Jada ran. And Diego ran 300 meters farther than Jada, because we're given that Jada ran 300 meters less than Diego. So that means that Diego ran 300 meters more than Jada. So 1,500 plus that 300 meters is 1,800 meters. And Lynn ran half as far as Diego, because Diego ran twice as far as Lynn. So the reciprocal or inverse relationship is that Lynn ran 1/2 the distance of Diego. So 1/2 of 1,800 is equal to 900 meters. So now I'm going to rewrite this problem as a series of equations, and it's useful to practice thinking about these reciprocal relationships. So Jada equals 5/4 of Noah's run. So that means that Noah is equal to 4/5 of Jada's run. So these are reciprocal relationships once again. 5/4 of Noah's run. Noah is equal to 4/5 of Jada's run. So Jada is equal to 5/4 of 1,200. That's Noah's run. Divide 1,200 by 4, that's the 300. 5 times 300 is 1,500 meters. And Noah's 4/5 of Jada. So divide Jada's run into 5 equal parts, because it's fifths. 1,500 divided by 5 is 300. 4 of those parts, 4 times 300, is 1,200. So Noah is equal to 4/5 of Jada's run. So Jada equals 5/4 of Noah. Noah is equal to 4/5 of Jada. Now Diego ran 300 meters farther than Jada. So 1,500 plus 300 is Diego's 1,800 meters. And that means that Jada ran 300 meters less than Diego. So the inverse relationship, now these are additive inverses in this case, but the inverse relationship is that Diego is 300 meters more than Jada. That means that Jada is 300 meters less than Diego. And Lynn ran half the distance of Diego. Well, Diego is 1,800 meters. Lynn ran half that distance. So half of 1,800 is 900 meters. So the reciprocal relationship in this case is that Lynn ran half the distance of Diego. That means that Diego ran twice as far as Lynn. So I'm going to write Lynn as x, and over here it doesn't equal 1,200, but we're going to have 1,200 on this side of the equation eventually, because that's Noah's distance. So Noah's run is going to equal 1,200 over here. So on this side, eventually will be Noah's run written as an expression on this side, and that will equal 1,200. So Diego ran twice as far as Lynn, and Jada ran 300 meters less than Diego, so that's 2x. This is Diego, x is Lynn. Jada ran 300 meters less than Diego, and Noah ran 4/5 of Jada's distance. So 4/5 of this expression right here, 2x minus 300, is Jada's run, and 4/5 of that is equal to Noah's run, which is 1,200. So Jada runs 5/4 of Noah's distance. So 5/4 of this expression is equal to 2x minus 300, and is also equal to 1,500 meters. So 5/4 of 4/5 is equal to 1, and so you're left with Jada's run, which is 1,500 meters, which is 5/4 of 1,200. And Diego ran 300 meters more than Jada. So this is Jada's run, so add 300 meters to it, add 300 meters to this side. So Diego's run is going to equal 1,800 meters. And Lynn ran half as far as Diego, so half of 2x is x. And half of 1,800 is 900 meters. So Lynn's run, written as x, is equal to 900 meters.